In episode 136, and welcome into the Benches Clear podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants, who maybe will go 500 this week.
And I'm David Contreras, representing the side of the only team above 500 in the division. That is the Dodgers.
We were so close multiple times. I'm not sure if that counts, but if it counts, then that would be us.
You guys are leading the league in moral victories, man.
we were right there, and then we just couldn't close out against the Mets, and then we were right there, and then we couldn't close the sweep against the Pirates, and then now we're getting pecker slapped by the Red Sox. But that's a whole nother story. That's a later in the podcast problem. Right now, we're living in around the league.
Around the league. All right. What did you hear around the league, man?
I feel like so. Benches cleared is supposed to be a play on we hate each other and we're fighting. But when there's a benches cleared brawl, I feel like we got to talk that. I feel like it's still in our DNA, Dave. And I guess when it involves a forever Giant like Jose Siri, we got to talk about it. So Jose Siri just causing problems over here.
Yeah. The guy plays with a lot of flair, man. He's not for everybody. You know, like he thinks he's that guy. And I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
If he was able to switch how good he is on defense to offense, he would be that guy. I like you don't keep up on everyone. It's impossible to keep up on everyone in the league. So I know he's like that. And I went to check because I was like, I wondered, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, and I was trying to remember when he was a Giant, and it was a little bit in 2020 and, alternate site and all that kind of shit. But, so yeah, like to play with that flair, you have to at least be decent, and he's hitting under 200, only like a couple bombs, and but when I watched it, I was kind of on his side a little bit, like, just because he pimps a home run doesn't mean you should get thrown at, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. I feel like he thinks, he plays center field. So if he looks to his right, I feel like he thinks he's that guy. I feel like he thinks he's Randy. He's not Randy.
That makes sense.
If Randy did that, he backs it up with his bat. So
100%.
This guy doesn't. I know he plays good defense, but also, it's soft to get mad about somebody pimping a home run. If you give up a home run, it's your fault.
Right. Just don't give up the home run. I get it. But I don't know. I always find like the whole, like it was 3-0. So it's like, am I going to walk this guy? Am I really going to battle? Fuck, I'm just going to put him on base and you're just going to hit him, So I'm not sure if the only person I'm really upset about is the umpires. And I know the last couple of weeks we've been super bitching at umpires, but I feel like it's relevant. Like to suspend Freddie Peralta for hitting him. I mean, it probably was on purpose because it was 3-0 and you said, fuck it, I'm just going to hit him. But I don't know. I'm not sure if you could prove that really. So to suspend someone on that is pretty weak. I think, was it Uribe who was the reliever who was, and then he was I feel like the only like real bitch of the situation.
I feel like he was just as much instigator as Siri is. Like they both kind of have that attitude, but they both swung and missed, man. Like they both look bad. Like
it's true. I thought because the first angle I saw, it looked like he like connect, not like a solid connect like a Jose Bautista type shit, but it looked like he like connected. But then I saw the other angle from the side, and there was a lot of air in between his hand and Jose Siri's face.
What we need is the format that the hockey teams do, like
in
the NHL, where they let them fight. Like,
let
these two guys, if they're really going to fight, then let them fight. I guarantee you they won't. I guarantee you they're going to run up to each other and just yell. Like, none of these guys, and when they try to connect the punch, they always miss. and it's like an
Hmm.
open-handed slap or
It
like,
was very open-handed. Yeah. Now that you're saying that, you're 100% right. It was very bitch slap type, which in a way, that's pretty crazy. Like if you get bitch slapped as a man, that's almost worse than getting swung on, I feel like.
well, if you get backhanded slapped, you need to retire from the game because
Yeah,
that's just
maybe.
embarrassing.
Uh-huh.
But bitch slapping, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's weak, dude. If they're gonna fight, let them fight. Neither connected, then they just yell at each other, and then it's over.
Right,
It's
right.
nothing ever happens in a baseball brawl. I need something to happen if they're gonna do it.
Yeah, what happened to the old school brawls like, Hunter Strickland and, getting into a Bryce
And
Harper and then Michael Morris and Shark, Samardzija just run into each other.
hey, that's what you need. Buster Posey understood, like, hey, I'm not gonna get in the way. I'm just gonna let these
It
two
was
fight.
like, you're like, "Oh, fuck these guys, dude. I'm too pretty for this shit." Um, yeah, I mean, this one was a little better than like I think the last benches clearing brawl was not even I wouldn't even call it a brawl that I can remember. I think we talked about it, but it was just like someone gets offended, they get upset, bench is clear, and then it's just like they're just in the middle talking, and it's like, all right, just let's go back now.
And then, oh,
And
I misunderstood.
right,
Nah, stand your
stand
ground, man.
on
What do
it.
you mean I misunderstood?
Wait out for the dugout while you're in someone's face. Don't stand there. That's all. We already talked about that, all right?
We
We
already
get it.
talked about that.
We
Yeah,
talked about it.
that's irrelevant. But
Yeah.
yeah, this one too, man. If you're gonna fight, then fight. If not, just go back to the dugout. Like you
Mm.
guys, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. What do
exactly.
you think? You think it was a good fight?
I mean, it was in terms of a baseball fight, it was better than normal. But other than that, that's the only thing you could say about it.
Only
But
because it
because
looked
like
like he connected.
but to get an actual like swing, I guess you would call it, or what would you call a swing that's a slap? Is it still a swing technically?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Like if a rat goes inside, does it make it a mouse? And does a mouse go outside, does it make it a rat type deal?
Exactly. That's exactly what
Um,
we're asking.
who knows? Who knows? It is what it is. I mean, Jose. I mean, the suspensions are crazy. The ejections were crazy. Except Uribe, who wants to swing. I don't even. I feel like Jose Siri didn't do anything wrong technically, except for I guess his dignity. Like if you're hitting under 200, don't try to be that guy. You just look dumb. It's like being down 40 in basketball and like flexing on a dunk. That's kind of how I feel. But in terms of getting suspended, it's like he hit a home run, he did the pimp job, and then he got hit, and then Uribe was like literally running into like walking to his baseline and like confronted him, and then he got swung on. So why would he get suspended? Am I
Well, because he
crazy?
tried
Am I
to.
taking crazy pills?
Yeah, because he swung back.
Well, you're gonna swing back when you get swung on. What is he
Well,
supposed to do? Run back to the dugout?
he did the whole Matrix thing. He didn't get
Mm-hmm.
hit. He was behind an umpire, so he was safe. And then he decided to swing. I'm like,
Well,
you could
yeah.
have
I
just
mean, if you get swung on and the guy misses, you're able to pump fake him. It's not like you're like, hey, you didn't get me, so game's over. You're gonna have to swing back.
not
I would
really. Because
imagine.
listen, if you're in a baseball brawl, which are not really brawls in today's game, but
Right.
the guy that decides he wants to swing, it's like hitting a batter. You get one shot. You get one shot to make contact because after that, there's so many people in the way that you're not going to get a second chance. You're just going to be pushing each other and all this other crap. So I feel
Right.
like the guy who swung first, who was Uribe, who
Mm-hmm.
he missed a golden chance. After that, anything after that, it was just them yelling at each other. Nothing was going to happen.
I think the worst, I think the person who might have looked worse was Reese Hoskins. He was trying to break it up, and then like I think he tripped, so he kind of fell. So that was kind of funny.
The
Um,
one that was good was the Tim Anderson and
yeah,
Jose
I,
Ramirez.
I was gonna say that. I was when you were saying like, well, no baseball brawls are good. I was like, oh, tell that to Tim Anderson and Jose
Yeah, because
Ramirez.
he clocked
But
him and he put him to sleep for a minute.
yeah, that was bad. That was a bad look.
That was good. I like
Yeah,
that one.
yeah. And now he's sucking in Florida. But that's a whole other story. Um,
But
umpires
we
doing
should
too
talk about,
much.
we just taled about it last week. We were talking about a
Okay.
replay.
Mm,
And we had another instance in MLB today where
100%.
I think everybody was like, what are they watching? It was the bottom of the ninth.
So
In
I actually, so he was there, right? Alonso got under the tag for sure.
yeah.
So, but I think what people aren't noticing, I've noticed this is what Patrick Bailey does a lot, was doing last year, where he wasn't getting that call, is if your foot is on the plate, like, and kind of behind, not behind it, but like directly on it, you're not blocking. You're still a a pathway, or a
Yeah.
baseline to get to the base, I guess you can say. So technically, the catcher did a good job there, because when you get the ball, you can put your knee down, you can block it afterwards, technically. So that part was genius. So I don't think
Well,
you the
before we get
blocking
to that,
part.
let's like set up the play for the people who didn't see it.
Okay,
It was the
okay,
bottom
go
of the
for it.
ninth, I think. It was the tying run at third, right? In
Right,
Alonso. And
correct.
Jeff McNeil was batting. He hits a pop
Mhm.
fly to left, not too
Crybaby
deep.
McNeil. Yep. Hmm.
Yep. And it's lofted to left. They get the ball and there's a close play at the plate, and it looks like Alonso beats it. It looks like he gets under the tag. And then drama ensues, and they said that he was out, and they did the whole replay, and they still came out with that he was out.
Right. So do you
But
have a problem with the block?
I do because I saw something going around that said in the rules that if your foot is on the plate, it's not allowed.
Okay,
So,
really?
and there was different pictures on the thing that I saw. I don't know if it was official or not, but so
It's
they're
just
telling you
someone writing
how,
it down.
yeah, they're telling you
Mike
what's allowed, what isn't.
014 was like, no, you can't put the foot on the plate. No.
But they're like, yeah, if you're blocking the plate or anything, or stepping on the plate, I think is what it said.
Right.
And he was stepping on the plate, and he was in front of the plate,
Right.
wasn't he? I don't
No,
think he
well,
was behind it.
there was a little bit of plate still in front of his foot. So it was on the plate. So, like, plate here, there's still plate right here, if that, you know what I mean? So I believe that makes it okay.
And then
So if that's what makes it okay, I don't mind the blocking. Not only that, I feel like the umpires kind of took themselves out of it, so I feel like that was good.
yeah,
Um, but the second part of it, him being out, I don't. He got way under that tag, and unless, because from the angle that I saw, it never looked like Alonso's hand got down. So I don't know if his arm just went over the plate and never like pushed down. That's the only way I could see it not being safe, because he went under that tag for sure.
yeah, I thought he for sure was safe. I thought they were gonna
Right.
call that safe.
Yes.
It's just, what are we doing, man? What are we doing with replay? Like, if you have replay, you should have like no doubt.
But
And
that's
instead, it's like, we still don't know. It's
right.
iffy.
And that's another thing too, that I think that if there was explanation, so like if they got on there and said, there was no block, like they said, but then they were like, and the runner is out because he never touched the plate. His arm was above the plate and never went down and touched it. That would make a whole lot more sense, and I think a lot less people would be bitching about it. Um, but it's the same thing. Like they have, like, to where like the umpire tells the audience, tells the ballpark what's going on, but they don't tell them shit. It's just New York said that it's safe. Like, you're not giving us anything extra besides you leaving your mic on and being a hot mic for a little bit. But
Even the way he said it was like very confusing because
right,
the Mets dugout was like, "Oh shit, he's safe," and they're like, "No, but he's out," and they're like,
right,
"What?"
yeah, because he said the call was confirmed on
There
the
was no
blocking of the
blocking.
play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
on
like
the
there was no
blocking of the
blocking or
play,
something
he
like
did
that.
not block the play. So when the Mets heard the call is confirmed that on the blocking of the play, they probably heard on blocking. So, like, okay, I'm safe. And then they were like, no, on the case of blocking the plate, he did not block it. So then I was like, wait, the fuck? So I think that's what happened.
So, and that's, I mean, could it have? It's just so funny that it happened to the Mets because everything that's comical has to happen to them.
Right.
So it was kind of perfect, and it was meant to be that it happened to them. But oh my God, it's another bad call,
Right.
in my opinion.
It was definitely a bad call, but I also feel like the umpires took themselves out of it. They didn't do a Matt Chapman with like, blocking, because at the end of the day, I don't know, this whole new blocking rule is just, it's still, it was made to like make it not so like a gray area, but I feel like there's more gray area now. And it's just, there's nothing clear cut. It's all based on what the this umpire particularly is feeling, and it seemed like the umpire took himself out of it. It's like, ah, nah, he didn't block it. There was still a lane. So in that part, I will get behind. And I do like.
Okay, I mean, it didn't affect my team, and I love
Right,
seeing the Mets suffer, so that was funny.
right,
But I just didn't think it was right. I thought like, hey, he was in there, but
right.
whatever.
But we also got our
I've
favorite
also seen the
thing.
Mets win games because their player, who's now a giant, just stuck his freaking hand out to win a game.
Yeah,
Like that was really low. Like, come on, dude. Everybody saw that you did it on
yeah,
purpose. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I know that happens, especially when he has a big old freaking elbow guard and shit. Yes, I
exactly.
understand. I get it. Yes, I agree. And I wish maybe he would do that a little bit more on the Giants. Maybe and get more runners on base and score some freaking runs. But we're not done talking
Hey,
about around the league,
you
Gabe.
heard it here,
Stop trying to
Michael
move on.
Conforto. Jesse wants you to get plunked more. You
Please
heard it
do it.
here.
Make it happen, dude.
Make it
Shit.
happen.
But we did get our favorite thing.
What's that?
We got hot mics with the umpire. Um, and we got to hear just a little bit of argument back and forth. I'm telling you, that was the most entertaining part of it, and it was like nothing. It was almost a nothing burger because nothing happened. But that's so much more entertaining when you hear just people argue. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's just me liking the cheese may. I don't know, but I just know that I like it.
Yeah, definitely. It's we need more of that. It's just
Yes.
funny, dude. When you hear the umpires and the managers arguing, there's nothing
Yeah.
better. It's just two old dudes going at it, trying to out old each other. Like, who can say something funnier or more cringy? It's funny.
You get that a lot if you just go hang out at your local like liquor store, gas station. There's just old people yelling at each other. So entertain yourself doing that shit. But some people that we don't like to hear talk is man these talking heads that are like just talk about all sports, and obviously I'm talking about Stephen A. But I feel like it's all of them, all the ones that like the first takes, the undisputed, when they just decide they want to talk a little bit of baseball, it shows how much they're disconnected from baseball, and it's just like sit this one out, kids. Yeah, I just I can't stand it.
Yeah, especially because none of them watch the sport.
Right.
And when one of the bigger stars of the game gets injured, what
Right.
do? Like they disrespect him. Like I don't understand it. Like you don't know the sport, you don't know what you're talking about. I remember Stephen A was like, I didn't have a career because I got hurt or blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, you're talking about injuries. You got hurt in college, averaged 1 point, and you're making fun of Mike Trout, who's out there playing probably banged up most of the time. We don't know,
Right.
and he's playing at a high level. How can you criticize this guy? It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. Oh,
and
there he
not only
goes.
that, he's not in the prime of his career. He's in his 30s. This is
And
the
he
time
was
where he's starting to decline a little bit.
and he was off to a hot start, dude. He was off to a
Yes.
great start. And then to say this is karma for him staying with the team and being loyal. Come on, dude. Like, come
And I get
on.
it's also kind of bait too because
Oh,
that's
definitely.
why he's so
Definitely.
popular is when you say stupid shit, you get a lot of people who just want to yell at you, and those comments add up and those views add up because everyone wants to hear about it. So,
I just wish
I get
wish
it.
people were more like honest. You know what I mean? Like I know they have to do that for views, but then how do you want us to take you seriously when you want to be serious? When you want to
Right.
be like, it's hard because I mean I get it. It's for views, but
Right.
I didn't like it. I don't think anybody in the
I don't like it.
baseball world liked it at all. Like
No.
Stephen A.
And then
Smith,
you're
go talk
also
about
like
something else.
as like just a general in base being a baseball fan, Mike Trout is kind of like that guy where like I don't say you feel bad for him that he's on the Angels because he could have got out of it if he wanted to. But it's like why go after him, dude? He's
It's
like
like going
America's
after
sweetheart.
it's like going after Damian Lillard because he refused to leave. He just wanted to play with that team and
Right.
hopefully win with that team. It didn't work out. He left. But like you can't really blame Trout for that. He wants to stick around with the losing team. That's his choice,
Yeah.
but
It's gonna mean more in the long run too, because at the end of the day, chasing rings, especially in baseball, is so hard to do. Um, You know, I think it means a lot to certain guys that they stay with one franchise forever if they can. Because then I mean, then you're Mister. He's gonna be Mister Angel for the rest of his life. I mean,
And he's the
and
most unproblematic superstar in any sport, I think.
right.
I don't think there's ever been like anything bad said about him or any story about him.
No, the only knock against him, he's like just too like vanilla. You know,
Exactly.
I
That's
mean,
yeah.
it's not a racial thing either. It's plain Jane. Or it could be shoe. Who knows? But yeah, I love Mike Trout. So Stephen A, leave Mike Trout alone. Okay,
I mean, I can't wait to see him
only
in another
human.
uniform, but
Right.
where do you think he goes? You think he goes to Phillies eventually?
No, he's going to San Francisco, baby. No, there was a bunch of rumors like that because it was like, oh man, the Giants are so desperate for a star, and they'll be the ones willing to pick up and give up the most for. I don't know. If he had a choice, it'd probably be Philly.
Yeah,
Because I think he does
definitely.
have a no trade, so he would have something to say about it. I'm sure. Um, it'd be like going to Philly or going to like a place where they're like for sure in the playoffs all the time, like the Braves or something. I don't think the Dodgers have room for him. So if that's what you're
Yeah,
asking, no.
I don't think so. I mean, I'd love to see him in left field so he doesn't get too hurt.
Can you
And just
imagine what it would be if like Mike Trout and Otani were on the same team? That'd be insane.
dude, they would make the playoffs every year, no
Every
doubt.
fucking year, dude.
They don't even need anybody else in the lineup because
But I
those
don't
two
want to
together,
hate.
imagine.
I don't want to hate Mike Trout. So let's move on. I don't even want to imagine it. Let's
You just
call
don't
it a
want to
day.
imagine him in blue, that's all.
I don't want to imagine it in blue. It's the scene of my nightmares.
Yeah.
Let's since we're on the blues subject, Eiffel 65. Let's talk about it. What happened this week in Dodgerland?
They had they were ending their road trip. They just ended it tonight. They had a very good road trip. They lost two games, went 7-2,
Don't like that.
and I love it. They swept
Mm.
the Blue Jays. They swept no, they didn't sweep the Blue Jays. I'm sorry. They swept the Nationals. They took 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays and took 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks.
Mm.
Pitching really stepped up. I mean, Glasnow has been pretty constant. I know he had one bad outing, but he's been pretty solid, man. He's the ace. And Yamamoto is out of nowhere coming back. We were talking about earlier. If you take away that first inning in Korea, whatever.
If you take away his bad start, the rest of the starts are good. So if you take
Everybody
away
we hate
his
playing that game. I get it, but if you take that first inning away,
right,
like it's a whole different conversation.
right.
Everybody was calling him a bust after that inning, and I mean, it took a while for him to adjust, and he's still adjusting, I think. But he looks really good. He looks like the number two now. So we got our number one and number two. Um, the young kid Landon Knack came up here, was pretty serviceable. I think he did 3 starts, had 3 starts, went 5 innings at least on every one of them. Um, yeah, I mean, in the hitting, it's there, man. So when this team, I think Andy Pajes coming up really helped out a lot. He was the spark because the bottom of the lineup was horrible. It was a black hole. And as soon as they plugged them in there, all of a sudden, man, the innings weren't 1, 2, 3 when it was the 7, 8, and 9. So rookie of the year candidate, man. He gave everybody else a head start. I'm just saying.
Keaton win? Yeah, I think so too.
Eh.
I mean, I think
So
it's kind of crazy because I think the big guys always end up being in the top three, like Jung Hoo Lee, Yamamoto, um, Kyle Harrison. Those are the ones that they're like already predicting to be the top three, like around there. So I feel like it's going to be closer to those guys than a Paz or a Win, even though their stats might be better. They're always going to lean high prospect ranking and all that kind of shit,
they
or high
definitely go with
international
the
signing.
sexier name. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, and it sucks because I know the Dodgers get a lot of attention, but I'd love for this kid to get some attention. He's playing really well. He deserves it. And just very like sneakily, has Outman lost his job? He hasn't played a ton, and every time I see Pages out there, he's playing center field. So
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know what's
does
going
he
on
play a
there.
good center field?
He's played a very well center field. I mean, he hasn't made any mistakes.
Okay.
So he seems to be reading the ball very well off the bat. So I like his defense out there so far. He hasn't hurt us. So that's how you can
That's
ask
great.
for.
A good bat that doesn't hurt you on defense, that's worth more than a lot. So,
Yes.
um,
But enough of the mom and pop Dodgers, dude. How are the little Giants doing?
the big bad Giants, best team in the league, best guy around. Not so good actually.
Ooh, we
Um,
love to hear that.
we were starting off pretty solid. I mean, the Pirates series 2 out of 3, and even the game they lost. I mean, Hicks had a great start. It's just, I mean, when you score 3 runs a game, you're probably not going to win a lot of games. So to score 3 runs a game and get 2 out of 3 is I mean, you got to consider that a win. The rotation's been looking very good. Harrison won 6 innings pitched with the 7 Ks. I mean, Wynn is still looking really good. Obviously, as I said before, Hicks is looking really good. So seem pretty solid. I understand the Pirates aren't exactly the most feared team in the league, but they had a pretty good start. So and there's a lot of former Giants. Brian Reynolds usually kills us. There was Joey Bart. His potential revenge game never came. Connor Joe's potential revenge game never came.
That was pretty
Um,
funny though, right? Did he play the series at all, Joey Bart?
he did actually. It was kind of funny because there was a in game one, um, Patrick Bailey hit a 3-run walk-off home run, but that inning, what's it been called? They subbed in Joey Bart to to catch, so they put him right in the game to watch the catcher that overtook him hit a walk-off home run right in front of his face. So that was
Damn,
pretty
that's
nice.
rough.
And then he ended the series. He was the last out in game three. So
I mean, it's not his fault he got traded. Like you get,
no, no, in no way am I saying that I'm rooting for him to be bad. I really want him to be good. I thought he was going to be the guy, and I'm more upset that he's not the backup. Because I mean Tom Murphy and I understand Tom Murphy has more of a track record. He's a lot better of a hitter. Um, has a lot more of a pass or whatever, but just not off to a good start. So, and then Boston, they're just getting their ass kicked. Like they're just not scoring any runs. I mean, it's just the same story. And Logan Webb's gonna have a bad outing every once in a while, and he did that in game one. And what was it? I think they scored 2 runs yesterday, or maybe they scored no, they scored any runs yesterday. Today they scored 2 runs. Sorry. So you're not going to win a lot of games when you don't score any runs. It's going to be pretty hard to do that. So, and I
that seems like a
understand
that seems like a really bold strategy, man. Trying to win a
it
game without
is,
scoring.
it is. But if you think about it, it actually makes sense. But and I understand Boston's rotation is surprising everybody, and I get it. But you're at Fenway. That's like I know like Coors is probably the best place to hit, but that's Fenway is probably 2 or 3. So I don't know, man. It's crazy that Dalton Jeffries got to start over Mason Black because you're investing so much into the season, right? I understand what they're trying to do is Dalton Jeffries is ready on the 40 man and he can easily be, you know, DFA'd, and Mason Black is not going to be DFA'd. He's a prospect, and you got Cobb's going to need to get back on this 40 man, and Robbie Ray's going to need to get back on this 40 man. Warren's going to need to get back on this 40 man. So, but that's, I mean, when you got guys like Brett Wisely and you could just DFA, Dalton Jeffries, you have so much invested in the season with Blake Snell and Matt Chapman having opt outs, and you're losing draft picks. I don't understand why you're going to go with a guy who is got his ass kicked in game one, did okay in AAA, but you got Mason Black, who is the #1 ERA leader in AAA in a league that heavily favors hitters. I know you don't always want to look too much into AAA stats, but when it's a hitters league and he's dominating in it, you got to take that a little more serious than a couple of PCL homers from an outfielder. I get like I don't
who
know.
is
So
who is Jeffrey's covering for? Who
Blake
got
Snell.
hurt?
Blake Snell is out.
But is it a long-term thing that did they say,
No,
or
no,
or
it's not.
maybe that's why, right? I mean, you don't want to bring up a kid if he's only gonna have one start.
Why not?
No?
No, why not? I mean, the problem is Mason Black's not on the 40 man. That's the real problem. Because if you put him on the 40 man, you're not going to take him off because then you have to DFA him. When
Yeah.
it comes to Dalton Jeffries, you're going to be able to DFA. He's going to be DFA'd when Alex Cobb comes back. That's probably what's going to happen. But it's like, I don't know. I guess it's early in the season, but it's like you're kind of, in a way, just giving away wins right now. And I don't know. You're already struggling. You're already under 500. Like, I feel like you can figure it out. You can DFA Dalton Jeffries. You can DFA Brett Wisely. There's some guys on this roster that you can just move on from because
You're
you,
right,
like
because
I
I think
said, you have invested so much in the season. I mean, you lost draft picks, you lost international money, you're paying big money to Snell, you're paying, semi big money to Matt Chapman for the year. I mean, at some point you just got to kind of go for it and do its best to win baseball games right now.
I mean you're right, because I remembered they did the same thing with Jack Leiter, the Rangers. They brought him up for one start. He got
Yeah.
shelled. His defense didn't help him out, but he came
Right.
up for one start. So they could have done the same thing.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
always
you could
baffles me when teams do that. Like there's a lesser option on the team, and they're like, yeah, we'll just go with him. I'm like, why? Like he doesn't give you a chance to win. Whoever
right.
X player is, like there's always one on a team, and you're like, this guy, he's not. He can throw a ball, but like he's not gonna give you a chance to win.
Mitch White's been getting his ass kicked for. I mean, they only put him out there in kind of blowout games or games that they're already pretty much done in, and then he'll still give up run. Like those are guys that we're holding on to because you want to save a 40 man spot, and hopefully Alex Cobb's going to come back soon. But it's like, what are we doing in the meantime? You know, there's 3 spots right there: Mitch White, Dalton Jeffries, Brett Wisely. Clear them up, dude. You got Tyler Fitzgerald. Why do you need Brett Wisely right now? You need an
Yeah.
outfielder. Call up Heliot Ramos. He's on the 40. You need an outfielder. Call up Luis Matos. He's on the 40. You need an infielder. Call up Luciano. He's on the 40.
And I think you got to stack wins wherever you can. It's not like it's early. Oh, like, excuses. No, like you want to stack wins wherever, if it's early, whether it's late, especially with so many, what is it, 2 more spots in the playoffs for each league. Like
Right.
there's more teams involved going down to the wire. If you're a middle of the pack team, you want to stack wins wherever you can.
Because in these last 3 years, I gotta say the most infuriating thing to watch as a Giants fan is these week-long Giants. You got guys that if there's people don't even remember these guys. Stuart Fairchild, Giant for a week. Mike Ford, Giant for a week. Fucking, I can freaking go on for hours. There's so many guys that are just getting at bats for a week because they want to hold on to, well, maybe this guy can get hot instead of just giving like their young guys a shot. Like it just, I don't know. It's insane. Um,
Yeah, man. Sometimes you just got to go for it. Like the Dodgers, who thankfully let Baez come up, even though they are adamant that they hope that CT3 finds it. But like, if he didn't come up and you're stuck playing Kike and CT3, yeah, that's bad. And you're probably
right.
giving away games too because you have an option down there who, as soon as they brought him up, you look at he can hit, so he can help the club.
And I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to get too real here, but the Dodgers can probably afford to give away some wins. They can try to figure something out. The Giants to get into the playoffs, they're going to need to scratch and claw for every single win to hopefully get as close to 88, 90 wins as possible. And hopefully they can, get into the playoffs. So
Yeah,
that's
because
where you're at right now.
yep.
So I know it's early and you can always turn around. Oh, if we just, I'm just so sick of hearing from the stat. Oh, we just got to get hot. If we just get hot, we're back in this. Well, put your best fucking foot forward then and bring guys up who are doing well and figure it out later. If you got to let go of Brett Wisely, if you got to let go of Mitch White, who was just DFA'd a week ago, then just let him go. Like it is what it is. Like I have no ill will for the guys, But at the same time, it's like if you got someone who's dominating AAA and you got a guy who's doing okay in AAA, you pick the better guy and try to win a freaking baseball game. Crazy
Exactly.
concept.
And maybe sometimes those guys stick around because they're that good.
Yeah.
Maybe they start helping out, but you won't know unless you call them up.
I think Keaton Wynn was kind of like the fifth guy that was like, oh, he's probably going to go to the bullpen, blah, blah, blah. Now he's one of the most reliable starters in. I mean, that might be going a little too far because the starting rotation is really good. I mean, Webb's very reliable. Hicks is very reliable too. Harrison is pretty dang reliable so far. But I don't know. Keaton Wynn's always going to give you 5-6 innings. Going to give you can't push these guys too much because of they haven't thrown really full seasons yet. They've minor league guys. So, but I don't know. You're right. Guys can come up. They can basically be big pieces for you. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah,
Out
I
and out
was
Brown
also,
cow.
I was pleasantly surprised with Landon Knack. I didn't know what to expect, and he pitched pretty well. Like he
Mhm.
went at least 5 innings, at least in two of the starts. I think he when he faced the Nationals twice, and then he faced Arizona, it went six, I think, something like that. I don't know,
Mhm.
but I mean, they sent him back down because Walker Bueller's coming back up. So
Right.
I get that, but I mean, that's another arm that was pitching really well in the majors. What is he going to go do in the minors? Like, what more does he need to prove?
Right.
Yeah,
And that's what it is. They like all these teams have like the same philosophies of, it's not. I mean, in all honesty, like you're gonna want Walker Bueller to be that guy. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to clear spot. And I understand someone might be doing good, but like you're obviously gonna go. You're not gonna have guys sit that have names too. Like Blake Snell's struggling, so when he comes back up, he's getting his rotation spot. When Alex Cobb comes back up, he's getting a rotation spot. They're gonna have to figure something out.
definitely. It's
So
like CT3 was struggling, and you're like, oh, bring somebody up to take a spot. You can't. You really can't. It's not
yeah,
that
unless
easy
you
because
DFA him.
yeah, like it's not. He's played really well for this team before, had big moments, so they're not just gonna they're gonna go through every opportunity to give him a chance and see if he can come out of it before they have to make that decision. So it's not
Right,
always that easy.
right. So that's I get it. I mean, I just want the best foot to be forward. I know that's just where I'm at right now.
And I just want you guys to stay under 500. That's just my
Well,
wish.
you might be that wish might be granted because at this month, and it's kind of funny because technically, if you were to talk to me after literally 2 games ago, I was talking about how great this team is and how good base. I mean, technically, it's just 2 losses, but even in the wins that they have, there's problems there. There's not a lot of offense there, so a lot of contributing factors and a lot of things going on, but. I think it's time to call out some people, Dave. Let's do
All
stud
right.
and dud of the week. Let's get it going.
Let's start
Um,
with dud. Let's start with the bad news first.
okay,
Yeah, I'll go first. You can give me yours. I'll throw out
I'm gonna
an
give it to
honorable
you.
mention. Otani with runners in scoring position. I think he needs to. First of all, I know he's not used to seeing runners in scoring position when he went out there with his last club, but he needs to settle down a
Maybe
little
he's
bit,
just
man.
scared. It's like a scarecrow thing. He's not used to people being on the bases, so he doesn't know how to
I
act.
feel like he's a little too anxious. He's swinging at everything, pitches that are up near his head when he gets in those spots, and I think he'll calm down. It'll get better. But my dud is a guy who hasn't even played, man. He was our starting center fielder, and I haven't seen much of him in Outman. And when he does play,
Mm,
he's been pretty bad. Um, I don't even know if Pa has already took his job quietly, but he's got what is it, 2 hits over the last seven games, 3 hits. Um, But yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. He's had some rough at bats. I hope he gets out of it because he's a pretty good center fielder. And if him and Pajes are playing together and hitting well, that's good for us. But I still have faith in him. Plenty of faith. He just needs to get playing time. I know the whole platooning thing, it doesn't work. It doesn't get a guy out of a rut. You got to
right.
throw him out there. So Hopefully, this upcoming series versus Atlanta, he gets it going. But yeah, he's my dad of the week, unfortunately, for this week.
Dud bum, release
Yeah.
him, get him out of here. Uh, I'm going to talk about two guys that are not going to be released because they just need to turn it up. That's what's going to happen. They're going to turn it out. Honorable mention Matt Chapman, and the reason that he's not getting the dud is because his. If you've watched Giants baseball the last like 3 years, a lot of their losses were contributed to errors. So this guy is striking out a lot. He's striking out in pitches that are right down the middle. Um, but at the same time, he's playing some of the best third base I've ever seen. So Matt Chapman, you're safe for now, but come on, pick it up for a little bit. I infield defense is like my favorite thing in the world. Just pick it up a little bit, just a tiny bit, and probably give you
No,
some
a lot of
duds.
bit,
Who
man.
knows?
You're not paying him to be a defender. You're paying him to do both. So
Yeah, but his that defense is so damn good. I mean, he's not getting paid 20 million. It's like 17. So I don't know. You could write that off. But especially, like I said, if you watch any Giants baseball the last couple of years and how bad the defense was, it's definitely a good sight to see. But who I will give it to is someone who doesn't even play defense, Jorge Soler. I mean, he's hitting 118 this last week, striking out 8 times with the 19 plate appearances. But he broke his bat over his knee, which looked pretty cool. He's hitting the ball hard, so I feel like he's just right there. I'm just trying to give him the encouragement to just maybe get the ball in there a little bit more when you hit it hard. Home runs, crazy concept.
hey, maybe he'll hit his second home run in Oracle Park at some point.
At some point, I
Yeah.
think he has more than one home run at Oracle Park. Am I crazy?
No, I think he does. I'm pretty sure he
Okay.
has like two.
I literally just X'd out his baseball reference page too when you said that. So I was like, shit, how many does he have? So yeah, go ahead. It's good. We're fine. We're doing great.
All right, all right. And who's your stud?
My stud is a guy that should be getting more playing time. This guy plays all over the field. I know at the beginning of the year he was kind of struggling in the infield, but has really turned it around defensively. He's hitting 400 this week. I know he hasn't got a lot of plate appearances, only played in 3 games, 10 plate appearances, but he's like the most consistent one right now. Playing some good defense, can play the outfield, can play the infield, all the above. Give some guys some breaks. So my guy Tyler Fitzgerald can come and play some ball. Yeah, got a
Awesome.
1.2 OPS. You gotta love it.
All right. I mean, I guess my stud of the week is a rookie, future rookie of the year, man. Andy Pajes, spark plug. Andy Pajes, man.
Mm.
He struck out less over this last 7 games. He only struck out 4 times. He has 9 hits. He has a home run. He has 6 RBIs, and this is all coming from the bottom of the lineup. So I can only see him getting better as he sees more major league pitching, gets more comfortable. But he looks pretty comfortable already, man. He looks like a big leaguer already. So they're gonna have some serious discussions of who's gonna have to leave the club, but it's not gonna be Baez. I think his job is safe the way he's playing.
Yeah,
So
you're
yeah,
gonna have to kind of just you know maybe Nancy Kerrigan, Chris Taylor, and be like, oh, he's hurt, he's injured, IL.
somebody's gonna magically get hurt right before Jason Hayward has to
Right.
come back. So, and it's not gonna be Baez.
Yeah, we
So yeah,
shall see.
keep it up,
Well,
Baez. Yeah, we love it.
some of us do. Others are looking forward to better times next week, where technically this podcast is based on the last 2 series. So I'm gonna really hope and pray the Giants just win this last game in Boston, so we can just have a 500 week. No big deal. We move on. We do 4 in Philly and then 3 in Colorado, which should wake up the bats. I mean, they can't hit there. I know. I'm not sure how the Phillies rotation lines up because I know Philly's a good place to hit, but when you're facing Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, hopefully you only see one of those guys. But we shall see. Hoping for an over 500 week. If you can split the series in Philly and win the series in Colorado, maybe even sweep. Is that crazy to say? I don't know, but because the Giants
Yeah, I don't know what
usually
you're drinking
have
there, buddy. I don't know what's in that bottle right there,
They
but
haven't swept a series yet. They're going to eventually. Why not do it right now? Sweeping
you know
Colorado.
what?
Historically, they're pretty bad in Colorado, but the last couple of years they picked it up. So I'm going because you're talking shit too. You're pumping me up, and you're getting my I want to say pheromones, but I don't know if that's a real word or if that's even a real thing. But you're getting me going. So they're gonna sweep in Colorado. So they're gonna have what was that? A 5-2 week. Book it. Put it on the books. Put your bets in. I
I
said
don't
it.
know, man. Anything can happen with Philadelphia, but it's just
Right.
so crazy in Coors. Like you don't know what can happen there. So
Right.
I
Right.
don't. A sweep, you could get swept as easy as you could sweep them. That's how
100%.
crazy it is there.
Yes.
But
But the
yeah,
Rockies are embarrassingly bad, which that oh man, that puts so much more pressure just to not to do okay. So, but whatever. Fuck it.
exactly.
We're
Like it's
sweeping.
a team you should not lose to. So we'll see. As far as the Dodgers, we got a weekend series with the Braves, and then we'll end our week with the Marlins before we record again. So
Mm.
uh, I don't know. The Marlins are pretty bad, but Jazz Chisholm hates Miguel Rojas, so you know he's gonna go
Ooh,
off
oh.
unless he
Is
falls
this their
asleep.
first
Like
time?
unless he doesn't wake up for
That's
the
true.
games.
That's true. How dare
So
he not wake him up? That's
yeah, if he
crazy.
doesn't wake up for the games, then we'll be all right. As far as the Braves, I mean, they're such a good team. That lineup top to bottom. So we'll be lucky to get two, I think. I don't know. Especially
Right.
because our pitching lines up with our weaker side. You know, it's the back end of our rotation. So,
Right.
but hopefully we go. I'm gonna say we're gonna go 4-2, 4-2 against the NL
Unbelievable.
East there before we talk
Un
again next week.
Unbelievable.
We'll be getting ready for the Padres and the Giants after that.
Ooh wee. That's gonna be
Yeah,
a good time. Yeah, we're gonna do some things. We're gonna figure some stuff out. Make sure to keep up on everything. We're gonna be doing maybe some lives during these games. Maybe just stay tuned. We're gonna figure this out and make sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform as well as YouTube. Um, Follow us on all the social medias: Instagram Benches Clear Podcast, Twitter Benches Clear P, and TikTok Benches Cleared. I think that's it. Dave, what do you got?
just thank you to the people who are subscribing, to our listening, whether you can only handle 5 minutes of us or 50 minutes of us. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
tuning in, and we'll see you next week again.
Yes, and
Hopefully,
one really important thing I did want to mention. If you've been watching these past couple weeks, I've rearranged my stuff, and this is the first time I've really seen the back of these bobbleheads. And for some reason, Matt Cain's got a freaking dumper on this bobble. They gave him some ass.
can we get
So
to the yams?
yeah. So give it up to Matt Cain. I don't know if he's got cakes like that, but his bobblehead does. So shout out to Matt Cain. I
I
like
think
big
Mookie.
butts, and I cannot lie.
I don't know
Pitcher's
if I
got a
got
big
anybody
butt.
with a big butt here. Maybe Mookie here. He's in a very compromising position, but
Yeah. Hey yo. So we'll see. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you for listening to our butt talk. And we'll talk more
exactly.
butts next week. See you then.
See you guys. Thank you for listening.